Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. Yes, I have a lot of energy left. All right. And I hope I will have my speaker notes, guys, because if I don't have them, I will improvise. There you go. But scroll up. That's not my speaker text. Okay, that's not my speaker text. Okay, then I will improvise then. All right, let's go. Let's do it this way. So I'm very happy to be there. I would like to retrace a little bit what we've been doing through the previous years, and of course to show you where we're heading together. In this little timeline, what you see is basically our progressive and continuous investment towards twin for healthcare and for medical practices. And the little words here are actually meaningful. We started off at the beginning of the 2000s trying to really understand the biology knowledge, what it entails in terms of putting a virtual representation in a computer, to really understand what it was about when talking about a cell in a healthy state or in a pathological state. And we didn't call that virtual cell at the time, but this is really what it was about. And then we continued, and with Living Heart under Steve's leadership and team, we went to add on top of that biology knowledge the medical know-how that any practitioner would need in its daily operative work. And then the story goes on. As you know, we moved and we did some moves, operational and or inorganic moves. And with Medidata, in fact, what we did was getting even closer to the patient. And the patient centricity on top of the practitioner understanding was key and has been key since, because everything we do in the end has to matter to the patient first. And we have been continuing with the living brain, with the twin onco, so you see cardiology, neurology, oncology, with every time precision, calibrated, generated twin of organs, and their evolution throughout times. The idea is not only to understand for diagnostic, but also to use those representation, those virtual and real, including real data representation, to do prevention, to do anticipation, to do understanding of the evolution of a disease. And this time dimension, which is key to what we do, is key to our representation and to our models. And this led us to this big new project that we call MediTwin. And we're happy because in this 11th edition of the Virtual Twin of Human Symposium, is the gathering, the assembly of all the communities that we have from Living Heart, Living Brain, Living Eye, Living Lung, Living Liver. You will see them throughout the day today and tomorrow with the MediTwin practitioners and hospitals. By now, already today, we are, as far as we know, the world's largest community of interest around medical twins, human twins for medical practices, encompassing, of course, practitioners, patient society and patient groups, but medical device manufacturers, pharmaceutical companies, regulatory bodies, and so forth. And so this shows Dassault Systèmes' commitment not only to do things by ourselves, but to nurture and develop an ecosystem of interest, what we call the universe of healthcare medical twins. And I need the presentation to work. And in fact, this goes multiple levels. As you know, there is the patient focus, organs, and our ambition is to go system of system, and in the end, to go to the full body understanding and modeling and representation for many use cases. But we won't stop here. Healthcare is comprising not only about the patient, but also the medical, let's say, facilities, the medical production, I would say, care production entities like hospitals. And we are committed also to investigate, leverage all our tools and technologies to provide next generation representation for hospitals and care systems. And the third level, even further, is basically the system of a national or regional healthcare. We all know, we all face, not only in France, not only in the United States, but throughout the world, there are highly very critical challenges when it comes to, at the same time, economical equilibrium, sanitarian and epidemiology oversight, and care delivery. How is a nation able to sustain those challenges? Where we claim, we believe, we have this strong conviction that we can twinify health systems by themselves. And if you want to have some key examples and use case of all those many twins experiences, because in every of the 3 boxes you have like many twin experiences, I refer you to this this white paper that you can find online, and you have the QR code. And I see that my speaker text seems to be back. That's good. So where are we now? Where are we now? We've been doing some things already, as you see in this busy chart, but I find very impressive chart. What you see here is about all those therapeutical areas we've been investing. We're not trying to boil the ocean. We're strategically focused on areas with the highest disease burden and intervention volumes. Let's start with cardiovascular. Cardiovascular disease is our #1 priority, with 366 million disability-adjusted life years globally and 12 million interventions worldwide annually. The impact potential is enormous. We're working on everything from hemodynamic modeling to pre-intervention planning and prevention pathways, including nutrition, metabolism, microbiota quantification, and so forth. Think, for example, about stent to perform a patient's unique coronary anatomy adaptation before even entering the cath lab. Oncology comes second. 233 million dailies, 9 million interventions. Here, we're modeling cancer evolution. Remember the cycle of life, recruitment, and even supporting palliative care decisions. Our spatial omics and organoid work is particularly exciting. And finally, neurology. With 111 million dailies, we're tackling Alzheimer's, epilepsy, and rare disease diagnosis. The complexity here is staggering. Brain connectivity modeling, neurostimulation planning, brain-retina axis connection for new biomarkers for diagnosis and treatments. And what's powerful throughout those use cases is that we can integrate everything from molecular data through tissue systems all the way to even care journey optimization at the patient level. This is the power of combining multiple twins together with new medical grammar, so to speak. Notice how we're working across scales, from molecules to cells to organ systems to complete care journeys. This multi-scales, multidiscipline, multimodality integration is what makes virtual twins so powerful. And those are just examples. Of course, we're not claiming we're going to do everything. It's always led and driven by partners from hospitals, by practitioners who are giving us challenges from the medical standpoint. But the idea to be driven by those use cases is to be able, in the end, to create a scalable industrial healthcare platform to generate virtual twins of human, calibrated for precision medical practice. Let's talk, therefore, about the platform and the foundations for virtual human twin experiences. Now, where are we? Where are we as of today? And I realize it's not even the right deck, guys, but that's okay. It's not even the right deck. Let's talk about where we're applying this technology. We're not trying, okay, it's not the right speaker text. So what are the challenges here? The challenges here to create a foundation are about modeling, about simulation, and about, of course, data. About modeling. Here, we're trying to represent a living system. By definition, we need to integrate multimodality, incompleteness, noisy data, non-aligned systems. We have all had experiences in hospitals when you have to do RMI on one side, scan on the other side, different samples on the third side, and at different moments. So how do we have a 360 consistent and integrative view of this? Well, this requires new modeling techniques, a new infrastructure for representation, at the same time of the richness and diversity of the reality of data for health, and a virtual representation encompassing this. Simulation. Well, simulation goes exactly the same way. Simulation talks about the time of the living. The time of the living, actually there are multiple times. The time of a disease, the time of the evolution of a cell, the time of the evolution of an organism or even a population, and the uncertainty, the multifidelity of the data associated to them. And therefore, we need to have new simulation techniques, new simulation infrastructure to encompass, again, this V and R understanding and simulation of behaviors of life. And we're working on that. And finally, data. Everybody's talking about generative AI today. But if we are to provide this right slide now, this global framework, well, we need to have frontiers model that are not only black boxing data, but are learning guided by ontological, medical, and anatomical ontological knowledge and know-how. And so what we are doing with those ModSim AI foundations for virtual twin of human experiences, we are building, I think, a first in the world platform that will be within the 3D Experience platform with modeling, next generation modeling for human tissue, for living entities, simulation for time of the living, and multimodality of data, but guided by anatomical, medical, and let's say diagnostic, prognostic knowledge and know-how. I think we are quite the only ones on Earth to do that today. And again, driven by all the use cases that you've seen before. So, which brings us to how we are going to reveal new medical practices based on that platform. And I would like to make a pause here first to discuss about the 3D universe that actually Bernard mentioned at the end of the Science in the Age of Experience this morning. We are going to reveal this ModSim AI value through different pillars. And let me explain them. The V plus R twins, with twins being the new level of representation, fusing real-world evidences with medical corpuses, always calibrated and synchronized with one patient. Experiences, constantly integrating the notion of past and present. For us, it's what brings twins to life and express how we interact with the world. Generative experiences that go to the next level, with data being guided to learn and anticipate future state of diseases. A platform that is to be considered as the reference for all evolving knowledge and know-how. Agent, virtual companion, we call them virtual companion. We believe that the next state of the practitioner daily work and the next daily life of the patient will be accompanied, will be teamed with a virtual buddy, always monitoring, assessing his health level, and recommending the best route of action for treatment or even interaction with the medical staff. Cycle of life, prevention, and then sense computing. You will see that in what we call sense computing in a hybrid virtual plus real world. And I have a couple of examples for that. And I hope this will work. So if you could launch the video that is.
In the new world of personalized medicine, many pathologies such as ventricular tachycardia could benefit from ModSim AI virtual twins in V plus R practitioner experiences generated through a low-code, no-code transversal application. Learned from a database of 1,000 CT scans, a generative twin provides a template which captures the cohort's variability and can adapt to any patient's cardiac anatomy. A patient-specific V plus R virtual twin is instantiated to fit both the patient's anatomy captured by multimodal medical images and his physiology by matching the simulated ECG with the patient's measured ECG. By leveraging the V plus R twin, The practitioner can assess the patient's condition without any invasive measurement. Then, a Sense computing experience provides a virtual surgery solution to maximize the chances of success for the real intervention. Let's see another use case in neurology done with the same generative experience for Alzheimer's disease. The complex geometry of the cortex can be efficiently analyzed through a next-gen geometric framework particularly suited to encode the uncertainties of real-world data. This V+R representation effectively reveals Alzheimer's biomarkers such as the thinning of the cortex, even in some ambiguous regions. Beyond these two scenarios, imagine how our twin generative experience could foster the whole ecosystem by bridging the gap between MedTwin technologies and the medical universe, ultimately helping patients all around the world.
So in this first illustration, you've seen almost all of the pillars. Every twin that you've seen, the heart or the brain, wasn't a generic twin. It was one specific patient twin. The underlying representation, geometry and simulation, relied on a whole new infrastructure. It's not your classical 3D package. And you've seen at the right side of the screen, at the same time, the medical workflow being virtualized at the same time, so the know-how being also virtualized. You could say it's a twin of the practice, being captured for reuse, sharing, and extension. This is the vision that we're developing right now in, as you've seen, a low-code, no-code approach. Let's see another example. And for this other example, I'm going a little further. This was for one practitioner. Let's see what this means for a team of practitioners. Can you launch the video, please?
Evan Morrell, a gastroenterologist, who has just discovered that his patient has colorectal cancer. From the collaborative platform, this gastroenterologist will have access to all the patient's information. The gastroenterologist will refer the patient to an oncologist at the same hospital. The oncologist is on her phone when she receives a message notification from Dr. Morrell. She replies and can view the patient's file on the platform and learn about the patient and all the information about them. The platform seamlessly ingests and interprets every layer of clinical information, from medical records and family history to endoscopic imagery, histopathology slides, molecular profiles, and radiological scans. Advanced AI models collaborate in real time to analyze these data streams, extracting patterns and highlighting clinically significant findings that might otherwise remain buried. The system consolidates raw evidence into an integrated patient profile, linking morphological observations from colonoscopy to histological confirmation, genetic variants to actionable therapies, and imaging results to precise staging and surgical planning. Rather than presenting disconnected outputs, it synthesizes a narrative view of the disease, distilling complexity into a clear, clinically relevant picture. The oncologist meets with the patient and, now that she has all the necessary information, can register her patient for a multidisciplinary meeting directly from the platform. She can select the next meeting and view all associated information, such as permanent members, location, day and date, and registered patients. Dr. Marie, the radiologist, receives a notification to inform her that the CT scan of patients are available. She can seamlessly explore the patient scan, leveraging AI-powered lesion detection and organ segmentation to validate the anatomical pre-segmentation, a key step toward building a precise digital twin that mirrors the patient's unique anatomy. Dr. Carver, the oncologist, can then prepare the summary that will be presented during the multidisciplinary meeting. The summary brings together all the relevant elements of the patient's file for the multidisciplinary meeting. We also have the patient's global twin, which allows for a rapid mapping of the impact of the disease on the patient, the organs affected, and the number and size of tumors. The affected organ has a specialized view, which allows for analysis of the characteristics and relationships between anatomical structures, for example, size, volume, and contact with the venous trunk. During the tumor board, the members discuss each person's individual situation, while a companion summarizes all proposed actions, namely surgery in this case, followed by postoperative medical treatment tailored to the person's and the disease's biomarkers. Clinical trials can also be explored with full consideration of the patient's medical profile, leveraging the digital twin to identify the most relevant opportunities. A report is generated and added to the patient's file. AI has unlocked a first universal medical experience, providing a portfolio of representations anchored in medical knowledge and know-how, adapted to each patient and each condition. V+R twins are living in a collaborative ecosystem where professionals and patients create and operate precision care in partnerships.
So you see here what we believe is the next generation collaboration environment for practitioners. Those board meetings, but they are all twin-based. And for sure, this is something that cannot be achieved with traditional EMR or EHR approaches and platform. Let's move to the next example. After one practitioner, after a team of practitioners, of course, the ultimate value of the twin is to be your body monitoring your health with you on a 24/7 days basis. So let's see what this means in terms of what we call care companion. Can you run the video, please?
Let's follow the hypothetical case of Sarah Spencer, who was diagnosed with familial hypercholesterolemia. His cardiologist prescribed high-dose statins, physical activity, and a nutritional plan to lower lipids. Sarah needs to understand her health and monitor it regularly for effective cardiometabolic prevention. Let's see where she is in reaching her lipid goals. Her disease is a genetic defect characterized by elevated bad cholesterol. Thanks to the application, she can see the evolution of the trajectory impacted by her therapeutic plan and provide information on taking medications. Let's also follow the sporting activity, another challenge for Sarah, who remains motivated and faithful to her plan. The last very important element is nutrition.
Okay, to keep making progress, suggest other foods that will help me continue to lower my lipid levels.
Sarah can consult her nutritional intake, recommendations adapted for her, and even recipe ideas to succeed and invent her daily life. The checkup appointment arrives. Sarah and her doctor can navigate the objectives to estimate progress towards the established targets. These aim to reduce your cardiovascular risk, calculated using the systematic coronary risk estimation score. The score is central to allowing the doctor to assess the probability that the patient will suffer a stroke or heart attack. Several scores exist in medical practice, depending on the population concerned. These models are available to the clinician, ready to use in the 3DS platform. They are based on the values of prevention biomarkers such as LDL, smoking, and patient demographic characteristics. These biomarkers can be monitored over time, in conjunction with medical diagnoses and treatments. The LDL level does not reach the recommended level. Several strategies are possible in this direction, according to official guidelines. Adjuvant treatment is necessary to accelerate the achievement of lowering lipid targets. A dietary adjustment can also help, always using official recommendations, and Sarah can discuss its feasibility on a daily basis. To finalize the plan choices between the patient and the doctor, the latter will be guided in prescribing new treatments, and the new goals will be updated and viewable directly for Sarah thanks to my metadata. New informed ways to empower the patient in health monitoring and assessment, and new individual ways to experience your health.
And of course, the key point here is that under the app is the same twin model. It is the same calibrated twin information as the one that you've seen during the board staff meeting, or the one that you've seen in the first video with the, let's say, office consultation between the patient and the practitioner. And those are just examples, but they are just illustration of the platform that we are developing, incorporating massive corpuses and guidelines for all the therapeutical areas that we've just mentioned, and of course, ModSim and AI technologies to be the best and, let's say, accurate representation for V+R twin. And I cannot resist to give you a last example that, in my mind, is truly inspirational and emblematic of a new era. the surgical planning and training. Training is very important for the workforce of the future. Let's run this final video.
Since last year, we've had the honor to work in close collaboration with Professor Patrick Nataf, who helps us shape our immersive experiences applied to healthcare, and more specifically to heart surgery. We want to create useful immersive experiences to ultimately train surgeons faster and keep patients safer. If we tackle this very demanding field, our technology should be transferable to all other domains. We developed exciting and memorable immersive apps for training and communication, demonstrated successfully from our labs up to the prestigious National Academy of Medicine. We now want to go one step further in surgeon education. Expert surgeons can identify immediately a damaged artery, and they can locate it instantly on a real heart thanks to years of training. But this is not a trivial task for novice surgeons like Nicholas. In this example, we have identified a stenosis on the coronarography of the patient. How can we locate it in 3D? We trained an AI to identify the link between reality and 3D by generating synthetic data from the twin of the patient. And now we can automatically identify where precisely we can operate. But how can we perform surgery on this hard-to-access area? After the patient's departure, Nicholas is thinking about the best way to proceed. He needs to access a hard-to-reach area of the heart. He teleports himself inside the V+ or twin of the operating room. In this immersive simulation, he can rehearse his gestures as much as he wants. But he needs to be reassured. He calls Professor Patrick Nataf for advice. The avatar of his mentor teleports inside the virtual operating room.
Si tu veux faire un pontage coronaire et notamment atteindre l'artère circonflexe, tu dois luxer le cœur. Et pour luxer le cœur, il faut que tu apprennes à le faire. Tu as tes mains et tes mains vont te permettre de luxer le cœur. Tu vas prendre ton cœur dans la main, tu vas faire le mouvement que je te montre à ce moment-là. Là, on est en circulation extracorporelle, c'est-à-dire que le cœur est flasque et vide sang. Donc on va le modeler, on va l'attraper et on va profiter du fait qu'il soit flasque pour le luxer et le tourner progressivement de façon à exposer la face latérale du cœur et voir l'artère circonflexe. Tu vois le mouvement que je fais? J'appuie sur le cœur et je tourne progressivement et là, je luxe mon cœur pour voir l'artère circonflexe sur laquelle je vais faire l'anastomose avec mon artère mammaire interne. Vas-y, je te montre un petit peu, là, vas-y, tu montres, et là, tu vois bien qu'on voit la circonflexe.
Je peux faire la rotation de l'autre sens?
Ah non, là, attention, tu tournes du côté droit, donc ça ne va pas. Retourne du côté gauche, la circonflexe est à gauche, et là, tu la vois parfaitement bien. Bon, maintenant qu'on a montré tout ça, tu vas faire toi-même la manipulation, parce que moi, je dois partir.
In the future, we want to create the virtual twin of the surgical experience to train, assist, and guide surgeons and patients throughout their journey.
So I think this is truly mind-blowing, but this is yet another experience of the value of the virtual twin for different practitioner acts and practices like here, training and surgery in the theater. I'm almost done. I know I'm already late on the schedule, so 2 final slides. I mentioned that we have already the largest worldwide community for twin in medical practices with practitioner, hospital, medical device manufacturer, regulatory bodies. But also, and first and foremost, we do that with patient communities. And patient communities, we are assembling MediTwin patient communities, Medidata patient communities and survey group. And of course, we are embarking as we speak more and more patients because in the end, the twin is for their better health. And finally, this is a call for action. You see in this slide really our vision and our purpose, the goal we're shooting at. We want our framework, ModSim and AI, to be the industrial scalable infrastructure to generate precise and accurate calibrated twin. We want our platform to become a health platform for practitioner and patient. We believe the twin are going to be one of the next reference for healthcare. And as you see in this little video on the top, we are already assembling a massive patrimony of thousands of twins for different organs, different therapeutic areas, different diseases, and different medical practices. So this is extremely serious. And we think we want to lead the way, assembling all the communities, MediTwin, living heart, living brain, living eye, living lung, and we will have a lot of presentation this afternoon and tomorrow. And so it's a call for actions. Join us, and let's invent tomorrow for better health for the patient. Thank you very much.